My girlfriend fell in love with my brother. I never thought I'd be the one sharing my story on the internet. But I guess when your heart breaks in silence, sometimes the only way to breathe again is to let it out. My name doesn't matter. But what does is what I went through, something that still keeps me up at night. Something I still don't know how to make peace with. I'm 18. She was 19. We weren't perfect. Not even close. Our relationship had its ups and downs. But I always thought that was normal. She had the strong personality. Passionate, loving, but also jealous, maybe even possessive at times. I told myself it was because she cared. I wanted to believe that. Then there's my brother. He's 27, tall, confident, and works as a police officer. He's one of those guys who just has that aura. People gravitate toward him. He's always been my role model. When we were kids, I wanted to be just like him. Even as an adult, I still kind of do. When I started dating my girlfriend, I introduced her to him. I remember that moment vividly. She smiled wider than usual when she met him. Her eyes lit up in a way I hadn't seen before. I brushed it off as her being friendly. He greeted her politely, joked around, and that was it. But for some reason, something inside me didn't feel right. A week later, she brought him up in conversation. "Your brother's really nice," she said, with a tone that felt too casual to be innocent. I laughed, said yeah, he's cool, and we moved on. Or at least, she did. I couldn't. The thought stuck in my head like a splinter. At family gatherings, she'd always find a way to sit near him. Whenever he talked, she listened like his words were the most interesting thing in the world. When she talked to me, she looked distracted. I tried to tell myself I was being paranoid, that I was jealous for no reason. But deep down, my gut screamed something wasn't right. I once joked to my brother, "Hey man, don't steal my girl." He laughed, shook his head, and said, "Come on, bro, she's your girlfriend." I'd never do that. And I believed him. He's my brother. He's the one person I thought I could trust with anything. But trust, that's a funny thing. It doesn't break all at once. It cracks slowly, quietly, until one day, you look around and realize it's gone. Over time, her behavior changed. She started comparing me to him. "Your brother's really confident," she'd say, or "he's so mature." Every time she mentioned him, I'd feel a sting, like she was reminding me that I wasn't enough. I tried to laugh it off, but the laughter always felt forced. Sometimes when my brother and I were together, and she called me, she'd ask what we were doing. And if she heard his voice in the background, her tone would change, lighter, sweeter. Once, she even asked me to pass on the phone just to say hi. I didn't think much of it at the time, but now I wish I had. One night, we were at a family barbecue. My girlfriend came along. Everyone was laughing, drinking, having a good time. I went to grab some food, and when I turned back, I saw her and my brother talking. She was smiling so hard, touching her hair, tilting her head slightly. He was being his usual charming self, probably unaware of how much it hurt me to see that. That night, when we got home, I asked her if she liked my brother. She laughed like I told a joke. "Don't be ridiculous," she said. "He's your brother. EW." But the way she said it didn't convince me. It felt rehearsed, defensive. Something in her eyes betrayed her words. Weeks passed, and my paranoia grew. She became distant. Less texting, fewer calls. When we were together, it felt like she was there physically, but her mind was somewhere else. Somewhere I couldn't reach. Somewhere that maybe had my brother in it. Then came that day, the day that changed everything. We were at her place, watching a movie. She said she was going to take a shower. Her phone was on the table, buzzing every few seconds with messages. Normally, I'd ignore it, but that day, something inside me snapped. Curiosity, anxiety, whatever it was, I picked up her phone. I wish I hadn't. The messages were from her best friend. At first, they looked harmless, but then I saw one that made my stomach drop. It said, "You need to stop pretending. You're obviously in love with his brother." I froze. My heart started racing. I scrolled up, and what I found made me feel like my whole world collapsed. She had been talking about my brother for months, how she couldn't stop thinking about him, how he was everything she wanted, how she felt like I was just a boy version of him. There wasn't a single message that said she had cheated, but honestly, it didn't matter. The betrayal wasn't physical. It was emotional. She'd already left me long before I knew it. She was just too cowardly to admit it. When she came out of the bathroom, I couldn't even look at her. She smiled at me, asked if I wanted to order dinner, and I just said, "I have to go." She looked confused, maybe even guilty. I left her house, got into my car, and drove aimlessly for an hour before finally going home. When I got to my room, I sat on my bed and cried. Not the kind of crying where you sob loudly, but the kind where the pain is so deep it just consumes you. Silent, heavy, endless. The next day, she called me. I didn't answer. She texted, asking what was wrong. I didn't reply. I didn't know what to say. What do you say to someone who broke your heart without even touching it? I kept replaying everything in my head. The smiles, the laughs, the moments we shared. All those memories now felt like lies. Every "I love you" echoed in my mind like a cruel joke. Did she ever really love me? Or was I just a placeholder until she found a way to get closer to him? For days, I couldn't eat. I barely slept. I kept staring at my brother, wondering if he had any idea. I don't think he did. He's a good man. He wouldn't do that to me. But it still hurt to look at him. Not because he did something wrong, but because he was everything she wanted and everything I wasn't. I thought about confronting her. I imagined the scene, me showing her the messages, her breaking down, maybe apologizing, maybe lying. But I didn't want her apologies. I wanted my peace back. I wanted my heart to stop aching every time I thought her eyes lighting up for someone else. I deleted her number. I blocked her on everything. But she stayed in my mind. That's the thing about heartbreak. It's not just in your heart. It's everywhere. It's in your chest, your stomach, your throat, your thoughts. It becomes part of you. One night, I heard my brother talking on the phone. He laughed, said something about someone being crazy. For a moment, I panicked. What if it was her? What if she tried to talk to him? My mind spiraled, but then I reminded myself, I have no control over that anymore. If she wanted him, I couldn't stop her. If he wanted her, I couldn't hate him. I just have to live with it. The worst part is the silence. When love ends with fight, at least there's closure. But when it ends quietly, without words, it lingers. It haunts you. You wake up thinking maybe it was all a dream. Maybe she still loves you, but she doesn't. And you know it. Weeks turned into months. I started healing, slowly. I went to the gym, hung out with friends, tried to distract myself. But sometimes when I see a girl with long dark hair walking down the street, I feel my chest tighten, thinking it's her. It never is. My brother never found out the full story. I never told him. Maybe I should have, but I didn't want to ruin the way I saw him. I wanted to keep believing that at least one person in this mess was innocent. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't looked at her phone that day. Would we still be together? Would she still pretend to love me while secretly dreaming about him? Maybe it's better that I found out. Maybe I needed that pain to grow. Pain changes you. It makes you colder, quieter, but also stronger. It teaches you that love isn't always enough, and that trust once broken is almost impossible to fix. I still think about her sometimes, not because I want her back, but because she was my first real love. And your first love never really leaves you. It just becomes a scar, a reminder of who you were before you learn what heartbreak feels like. I hope she's happy, wherever she is. I hope my brother never finds out what she felt for him. And I hope one day I can look back at this and feel nothing at all. Because right now, even after everything, I still feel too much.